Hare Krishna, welcome. Have you ever wondered why you react the way you do? Why maybe certain fears grip you? Why certain desires whisper to you? Or why some patterns repeat, maybe in love, career, or even spiritual life? What if this is not random, but it's a psychological imprint of your nakshatra, the stars you were born under? And what if the remedy lies with certain mantras coming through ancestral lineage? So, welcome to my new series, The Inner Psychology of the 27 Nakshatras, the deities, the shadows, the stories, and the mantras that resets and changes everything. You see, long before modern astrologers were complicating everything with endless rituals and stones and yantras and paid remedies, one of our ancestors revealed a secret, quietly, privately, secret compendium of true astrological remedy. I owe this discovery to Arulu Mallige Parthasarathi. He happens to be one of our distant relatives. He wrote this book. So he discovered from a scriptural injunction how each verse of the Vishnu Sahasranam, the 1008 names of Vishnu spoken by Bhishma Dev, this verses corresponds to a specific nakshatra. Now, there are 4 verses per star, per nakshatra. So chanting of these nakshatras resets the mind, removes the karmic layers, removes all the karmic knots. And not just that, it's also scientifically proven that the vibration of these mantras, it restores the nervous system to sattva guna. And it also is known to have healed people with cancer. So basically, it goes to the cell level, these vibrations. Later, after I discovered this, I wrote this book called Nakshatra, The Stars Within You. I realized that this was not just some family folklore. It was an ancient knowledge preserved through discipline. It wasn't like so popularly known. It was like more like a secret of the traditional astrologers that they kept this as a remedy. And then, of course, faith or bhakti is the most important ingredient within these words of Bhishma Dev, which was written by Vyasadev later to share these 1008 verses. So it's such a jewel of depth and truth for each individual area of your life and for customized for every individual. So I'm very excited to be sharing this knowledge with all of you. I'm still working on creating an app where you can just put your date of birth and it gives you this is your nakshatra and these are the mantras. We're still working on that. But these videos will really help you understand yourself better. So beyond the zodiac signs, beyond just your moon sign, each planet is ruled by a nakshatra. Nakshatra is the constellation. So this is the wealth of wisdom to figure out more about yourself, your purpose in life. Because life is like a kingdom. So within the kingdom of life, each of these planets call it like a cosmic code of lessons for you specifically. Because you may be brother of 4 or 5 of you in the family, and each one has a different lesson in life. Each one has different psychology. So each nakshatra has a psychological pattern, and it has a deity archetype connected with that nakshatra. And there's a shadow of when you're not living your life purpose, what happens. There's also a gift for every nakshatra type, and there is a there's a neurological or emotional wiring of each of this nakshatra, which I find very fascinating. And the 4 precise mantras from the Vishnu Sahasranam, by reciting which or by hearing which, can reset, heal, balance the energy of that specific nakshatra. It's all in my book, the nakshatras, but these videos I'm elaborating more on each type of the nakshatras. Before I recommend a medication, I want to share my own testament, my own experience, how these mantras healed me. And I'm not sharing this lightly. I was going through like a really tough period in my life. I had emotional breakdown. And in that period, when nothing else was really helping me, not even direct spiritual knowledge, emotionally, spiritually, I was feeling really weak. No therapy, no astrological remedies, no affirmations. I really felt stuck in my own mind. And then I felt like this karmic weight of many, many lifetimes was weighing on me. And out of this desperation, I took shelter of this knowledge of the Vishnu Sahasranam mantras for my specific nakshatra. I chanted them every single day, like my life depended on it. Some days I was chanting with tears, some days with no hope at all. But slowly I could really see something change. So within few months, I really felt clear. I felt light. I felt emotionally free. And also I felt energetically balanced. It was like rejuvenation, uplifted. My nervous system, it was like it came back online. So it felt like someone pressed like a reset inside of me. That was what this Vishnu Sahasranam mantras, specific mantras, did for me. It's like all traumas were loosening. I felt new strength. Life began to move. I realized that I was out of alignment. So many astrologers may give hundreds of complicated remedies, but this one remedy, you can do it yourself with no cost, no dependency, no side effects. It's the chanting of these mantras of your specific nakshatra. It's simple, it's direct, it's very powerful, it's ancient, it's a scriptural remedy, it's Vaishnava remedy. And most importantly, I would say it works. So the science behind these vibrations, it's not blind faith. So Bananjay Govindachar has these whole series in Kannada about the power of how on a cellular level this Vishnu Sahasranam mantras really is healing, and it reduces stress hormones. Many scientific examples, they did some research and they found that. And it heals trauma stored in our tissues. It stabilizes nervous system, and it even increases the alpha theta brainwave frequencies. It kind of balances and helps us to reset. It boosts immunity. It repairs damaged cells. People even with cancer were cured just by these vibrations of these mantras. There are documented cases that proves this. Example, I even know a couple of my relatives who got healed because they really, with great faith and devotion, took up this to this. Because the idea is that your body is not just some biological thing. It's vibrational as well. Your nervous system is a sound responsive electric field. So the specific Vishnu Sahasranam mantras are like coded frequencies, to restore this balance, to help us stay aligned. It's really magical. So each of the nakshatras, it's also important to understand in this series, I'll explain the psychology of each of the nakshatra and these mantras and how this qualities and name and form of the Supreme Lord Krishna is actually connected, because this whole emotional wiring, all the fear patterns that human beings carry, the nervous system tendencies, it works differently for different individuals. And then we have psychological blind spots. So what happens is that these mantras for your nakshatra, it becomes a customized vibrational medicine that heals the part of your psyche where the karmic imprint is stuck or it's seated, and it empowers the individual. You really release these karmic chains, karmic bonds. So before we approach the series on the nakshatras and the psychology, I must honor where this wisdom is truly coming from, where my faith comes from. My grandfather and my grandmother, they lived by this Vishnu Sahasranam. Every decision, every difficulty, every celebration was touched by the vibration of these divine names. So my grandfather's life was glorious. But his passing was even more extraordinary. He had just finished chanting the mantras. And just a couple of years ago, I sat beside my grandfather who left her body. There was no fear, no confusion, no suffering. All the family members were gathered together and we chanted the Vishnu Sahasranam in the hospital room while she took her last and final breath. Her face was peaceful. Her aura was luminous. Her departure was like a saint's departure. And she would not waste time. She would always be chanting Vishnu Sahasranam. So that moment, it taught me how mantra, death, liberation, all these things are interconnected, and no other scripture can give us the potency of this holy name. So that's why I want to share this with you. And this series is very sacred to me. I want to live by it. It's not just one of the performance kind of videos. So what is different about this series? This is not just an astrology series or just some psychobabble. This is on a deep spiritual level, it's healing. On a psychological level, it's healing. On a nervous system level, it's regulating. It's ancestral wisdom. It's mantra science. And it's also the Devata archetype. It's karmic unentangling. It's also spiritual elevation. So each episode will reveal the psychology of the nakshatra, the shadow and the gift of that nakshatra, the deity connection, and what it reflects psychologically, and the four Vishnu Sahasranam mantras, the esoteric meaning of each of these verses, and how this mantra can heal us, the patterns that we're holding, and how this vibration can cure the somatic memory and reestablish us in self, in higher self. So welcome to this journey with me as we discover this beautiful depth of the jewel, the wealth of Vishnu Sahasranam. So one of the purposes of this series is, by the end of this 27 nakshatra journey, you will understand why your mind works the way it does, why some patterns repeat, how your nakshatra shapes your emotional world, how to activate your gift, what your particular deity in that connection is trying to teach you, the psychology behind that deity, and how the Vishnu Sahasranam stotras can transform not only your mind, but your cells, your body, your nervous system, your relationships, your destiny, your connection with wealth and money. This nakshatra astrology, as it's meant to be, it's a pathway to healing, to finding alignment, to inner freedom, to find that higher purpose in life. So I hope you enjoy these series, you learn something about yourself, and also appreciate the ancient wisdom and the correlation of the Supreme Lord, his name, form, qualities, pastimes, and the microcosm of how our own mind and the inner kingdom of life and different planets are impacted with the bridge of the deities connected. So it's an exciting series. I look forward to hear more questions from you, and tell me what topics you would like me to talk more on in this series. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.